Hi everyone, welcome to the Digital FinTech Show. Today we have with us Vivek Agarwal, co-founder and CTO of Square Yards. I have been knowing Vivek for quite some time, and I've seen the way he has evolved, the way his company has evolved, an amazing amount of work, the scale they have brought to the market. They are sitting at the intersection of prop tech, which is property, plus which is real estate, plus technology, plus obviously they have gone into the lending cycle, which is where we know more. I personally work a lot. When we work with so many entities around mortgages, a loan against property or home loan, we realize that there's a real gap out there. Somebody solving the need of the lender where they want to know the property price really at that point in time when the customer is onboarding and trying to figure out that should we be going ahead with the process or not. They help in going getting that data. Also, once the lending is done, they help us in knowing that how this particular portfolio is at risk because the property prices may have moved up or down, and what are the kind of margins you can have a potential of doing top up, or you may have to want to cut down your risk if the property prices have gone down. They help in that, and they have a lot of new data insights products which exist in the market. So I think they've done so well. So I think this particular session is about learning more from him, what all he's working. So thank you, Vivek, for joining us, and I would love to hear more from you. Thank you for joining.
Thanks, Samir, for having me here. Samir, I'll tell you how we started and how we have progressed in our journey, right? So, Square Yards, we started around 10 years back in
Mhm.
2015, and we started as a uh, primary market, which is the new homes market, real estate aggregator. So, we sell new homes from most of the developers. And over the last 10 years, we have also ventured out to different segments of this real estate value chain, starting with primary, then
Mm.
rentals, home loan and financing, doing interiors, property management, so on and so forth. So, fast forward to 10 years from 2014, we are now the largest prop tech player in the country by far. We do almost $7 billion worth of properties and loans.
Mhm.
Uh, we closed last year at around 2000 at around $170 million of revenue.
$170 million of revenue. Oh,
Yeah,
this.
and for the last 4 years, we are growing at a rate of more than 50% CAGR. So close to 7,000 employees now, and we are present in 9 countries apart from India.
Okay.
And as I said, we are uh, trying to complete this broken real estate value chain from a last leg fulfillment perspective. Okay, whether it's transactions, home loans, interiors, property management, so on and so forth. So, unlike classified and listing players, which actually get out after inquiry is generated, we specialize in the last leg execution, which is like getting the transactions done or getting the home financed, uh, doing property management. So we are like in the execution business, the hardest part of the entire value chain.
No,
Mhm.
yeah, this is good. This is good. I think I've seen in the market a lot. I'm right now working a lot in mortgages business, and we realize the pain point we go through, right? So when you do mortgages, the way property is valued, legal is done. So I think since you've done so much of work here, I would really want to understand what all are the current nuances of HL Lab business, and how do you think what are the gaps which exist today, which can be sort of fulfilled through data insights and all of that. So would love to learn from you.
Yes, Amir. So see, when we, as I said, we started with the primary real estate market, like selling developers new launch properties to our clients. So what we found out is a very, I would say, painful insight that almost 30% of the property transactions that we were doing, they were going for cancellations. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And when we dig deeper into the reasons of cancellation, home loan or mortgage emerged to be one of the major, like the top three factors, right? And when we dig much deeper into this, we found out that the home loan process of an under construction property is broken. Okay. So it takes close to like 15 days for a bank to sanction a home loan and around 45 to 60 days to disburse a home loan, right? And in this time, the customer is tentative. Okay, he's not sure whether, yeah, his home loan will get approved. He might have a remorse after buying a property, right? So,
Oh.
so different factors come in, right? So because of which these cancellations were happening, either his loan was getting rejected, or he was not getting proper LTV, or he had a remorse of buying. Okay, or even if he has bought the property, uh, the ratio of the attachment rates was very low, right? Like getting the property done and then getting a home loan disbursed through it. So we thought that this problem, which is for under construction real estate, we started doing independent home loans as well, right? And we found that the process there is also broken, which is like the ready properties or labs, right? Because if you look at the overall process, right? So there is a legal, technical, and valuation process, and most of the banks, they have these run in silos, right? So there is your LOS, LMS, where the sales teams or the customer acquisition teams work. Then it goes to legal, technical, valuation, right? There are physical valuers involved. So all of this operates in silos, and the data is like distributed across. So we found that the process is broken in both the under construction and ready to move properties. And that's why we, as the largest prop tech company, we thought that we should find a solution to this problem. And based on the data that we have been gathering over the years, we actually formulated these solutions, which are evaluation, uh, project monitoring reports, title search, property asset search, so on and so forth, which we'll talk in detail in this podcast later. But having said that, I mean, if you look at the overall mortgage piece, right? If you go to take a personal loan today, right? You get this dispersed in 5 minutes, right? Your KYC, your credit worthiness is checked, and if it's okay, is in line with the bank's credit policy, you get your loans dispersed, including signing of NASH and all other agreements as well. Now you compare it to, you are buying a car, right? You have actually selected a car, you go to a showroom, the bank person is sitting there, okay? He gets your document collected, you walk out of the showroom with everything, with your loans getting sanctioned, and then you just walk out with the car, right? Now imagine you're going to a developer's place, or you're buying a ready property, right? Now imagine the pain that the customer has to go through in this, right? So in an under construction property, there are like 10 to 12 set of documents which have to be exchanged between the builder, bank, and the customer, right? And this does not include only the KYCs or the credit worthiness of the customer, but it includes documents such as permission to mortgage, if you have a construction finance, then an NOC, right? Builder buyer agreement, sale agreement. This is for under construction. For ready to move, you have to send a physical valuer, right? And there is always a chance of collusion, right? So if you see, the whole journey is broken. Fintech, as we know, like retail lending is like one of the largest in retail lending. Home loan contributes to the largest, but fintech has not penetrated there, right?
Mm.
And there ought to be a better solution to this, and that's why we started working on this a few years back, and now we are in a shape that we are able to offer these solutions to the market.
No, I think this brings to the next question. So, I think it'll be useful for us to figure out what are the offerings you have,
Hmm.
which are solving these issues of the lenders. And maybe it will be good for us to initially understand where you are able to solve the onboarding journey of the customer, and then we'll see post disbursement what are the other solutions you can sort of solve for. So, let's look at what are the solutions available for onboarding, or maybe credit side, basically credit underwriting or kind of stuff for the property.
Yes, I mean, so we have in our data intelligence suite, we have four set of solutions. One is a evaluation or automated valuation, which is available both on API, as well as we have a portal where people can log in their service request, right? and this is instant and immediate. So before actually going into the solution, I should talk about the uh, data layer, right? How we have actually arrived at these solutions. Right? So over a period of time, we have actually digitized close to 50 million property registration records across 10 states.
Mm-hmm.
So these property registration records actually tell you, and these are public records, like anyone can access them, but these are like in different languages. Uh, the property address are in like village, CTS, khata number, right? So these are not like very easy to understand. So we have structured these property record, we have digitized, and we have actually stored it into a queryable database, right? Uh, so the property registration records actually tell you like at what value the property is registered in, right? But that doesn't tell you the whole story, right? Because the value at which it is registered and the value it is sold is different because of various reasons, right? Which I'll not go. But so what we did was we actually brought in the listings data. So our portal, squareyards.com, it has
Mm-hmm.
close to 1 million property listing. We are one of the largest supply side portals, right? Done by close to 50,000 agents. So those property listing data is at comparable to like what price the property would be sold at, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then there's a third set of data, which is the RERA data, right? So most of the real estate regulator website, they have data related to projects, their construction status, their uh, uh, inventory sold, right? If there are any legal cases, the title of the property, right? So we also digitize that. Then the
Mm-hmm.
other sets of data, like we ourselves, we do close to 120,000 real estate transactions in a year, right? So we triangulated all of this data, and we made a data analytics layer on top of it, on which you can build various applications. So some of those applications, now coming back to the solutions. So one of those application is valuation, where you can actually it's a very simple thing. You input a property address with the project names, and it gives you a fair market valuation of that property instantaneously. And this is almost, I would say, the accuracy would be in the range of 90 to 95%. Okay. But the good thing is that it is instant and you can use it across your loan journey, right? You can use it for pre-assessment of the customer. Like before going into the credit, you just quickly want to check the property value so that you can actually communicate something to the customer and the customer doesn't drop off the loan journey, right? Uh,
Mm-hmm.
you can use it within your credit evaluation cycle, right? Which some of the HFCs that we are engaged with, they are doing, right? So uh, with their physical valuation, they are also doing a evaluation, and then they are uh, gathering this data and arriving at a fair market value, right? You can also use that post dispersal, right? So you have a list of properties where you have collaterals, you have given up those loans, right? And you want to revalue these properties over the years, right? And these revaluation can actually give you things like if there are any top up opportunities, the property value has increased, you can actually disburse more loan onto the same property, right? So this is a automated valuation. Probably this is like very comprehensive and one of the most data driven valuation insights that you would get out of in Indian real estate, right? So this we are now taking to the market. Then there are two solutions related to the title, right? So one is uh, the title search, right? So because we have digitized the property registration data, so if you input a property address, we can give you a 13-year or 15-year history of that property, right? How it was sold and transacted over the years, or if it was mortgaged, then who mortgaged at what value. Okay, so we at the click of the button, you get a title report. The third solution is interesting, where instead of a property, you address a person's credential, like his name, his PAN number, right? And some other, based on the consent, we can actually get the property portfolio of that person, right? And this is not finding use cases only in the case of home loans and labs, but even in case of MSME loans, where if a lender wants to finance SME, right? So based on the property portfolio of the proprietor or the founder, it can actually disperse loans and say whether this person is credit worthy. Like if he owns properties which are like highly valued, right? So it is easier to give the loan and reduces the risk. So valuation, title search, and the asset search, right? These are the three solutions. The fourth solution is a project monitoring report. This is majorly targeted at under construction properties, right? As we started with under construction, we sell mostly under construction right now. So we found that there is a gap where a lender is not able to actually get the details of the project for which it wants to disperse, right? So things like what is the construction status, if there are any legal case, whether the property title is clear, right? How much inventory is sold in this project, who else is lending, right? Who else has actually uh, so
Right.
all of this we actually combine into a project monitoring report. It helps the lenders in doing APFs. It helps in actually penetrating projects which they haven't done any loans for, right? So it reduces the overall process. So if you look at all these four solutions, the idea is, so there are two objectives, right? One is to reduce the TAT, right? Improve the customer experience, improve the developer experience, right? Uh, Improve the process efficiency. So that's one part of it, right? The second part is, because of these solutions, you can actually find new business opportunities for yourselves also, right? For example, you can early in the process, right? You can find out whether this person has how many other properties, right? You can find out new LAP opportunities. You can revalue your property assets, and you can find out top up opportunities. So these solutions, I think, much needed for Indian real estate. And we are actually, we find ourselves to be in the right spot to be able to deliver our solutions, because our uh, we have a leverage both in the real estate and the home loan sector.
This is unique. So, has worldwide anything like this happened, or is this like first time in the world somebody has solved to that extent?
No, so if you go to the developed countries, you go to a US or Australia or Canada, right? So this whole data is very simplified, and it is actually available with most of the lenders through government, right? So uh, like in US, if you just enter a property address, right, you don't have to do anything, right? So the government itself will provide the it's a semi-government, because the MLS is the multi-listing platform. They manage the listings and property sales data they record. So you can not only get the title of the property, like the ownership history, but also the nearest comparable at what value this property must be sold at. So the leading portal in US called Zillow, they have something. So they actually uh, rose because of a tool called as Zestimate, which is to, at the click of a button, you can actually value a property because the data is much more structured and organized.
So you
Same.
basically have built the same structure, same output without that structure, and so you have built that structure on top, which is complicated, man.
Yeah, I think in India, I mean, I'll not say that we have reached that maturity level yet. I think the industry itself has to reach, because a lot of records are still not digitized. In some of the states are laggard, some of the states are very aggressive, like Maharashtra or UP. But most of the states, the land records, the property registration data is still not digitized. But having said that, what we have been able to do is that, based on whatever information we have available with the state, with the government, and with the listing platforms, we have been able to bring them into a common structured query language. Okay, so uh, you have a project which is common, you have an address, right? You have pin codes. So based on this common analytics layer, you can derive a lot of information which is easier to analyze and easier to integrate within your uh, digital journeys. So I would say that we are still getting there. Probably will take for us as a or as an industry to reach. At some point we'll reach there, but we are getting there.
So I think talk about which are the use cases where you see your lenders working with you, and what are the key sort of success stories there. So some level of understanding on why a lender should work with you.
Yeah. So there are three ways where our lenders could engage with us. Okay. So one is, as I said, is early identification of the opportunity, right? So you in your LOS, in your LMS, in your CRMs, right? You get different leads, right? And so can you quickly identify first is uh, whether that property, the title is clear, the title is marketable, what is the approximate value range of that property, right? Very quick and dirty analysis you can do, and you can lock in the customer. Because if you say to the customer, okay, I will evaluate, I will see how much loan has to be given, some valuer will come, he will charge you 2000 rupees, right? So this is
There's
a
a lot
long.
of cost, lot of wastage out there, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So this is a longish process, and the customer is also not sure. And as and when his credit inquiry is done into any bureau, right? A lot of lenders actually uh, approach him, right? Including his own bank. So there is a droppage in the funnel which also happens. So with this early identification, you can assure the customer, okay, we based on our early assessment, we can give you so much loan. Your title is clear, right? And probably you have two other properties on which you can actually get a lap, right? So one is that. Second is integrating within the credit process, right? So by RBI regulations, you still have to do a physical valuation, like somebody has to go and take measurements
Hmm.
and look at the approach road, the width of the road, whether
Hmm.
the person has not constructed above the overall coverage allowed for that plot or for that area, right? So still those things have to be done, and these are also being digitized. I'll talk about that later. But you can actually use this valuation or title check within your process, and you can reduce the overall TAT, right? Um, so you do a early qualification, early verification, then you reduce the TAT because and you gain the process efficiency. And the third is, if you have a loan book, like you have you in your overall life cycle, you would have given like uh, thousands of loans, right? So can you actually revalue them and identify opportunities among them? So these are the three areas where we are getting traction. uh, we are working with some of the larger HFCs and also some private sector banks. So because of the confidentiality reason, I won't be able to name, but these solutions are being adopted well by the industry.
I think this is the area of real interest because today, even for a 50 lakh loan, people spend anywhere between 40-50,000 rupees to a lakh just to reach a status where they can disperse the loan out, which is amazing amount of inefficiency in the market. This is on top of the amount they have to pay to their DSAs. So I think this is the area of choice. We work with so many of them. Every time they say, "Oh shit, how do you do a legal technical fast?" I think you are solving for it. So I think maybe as we come towards the end of the session, maybe last couple of questions. So how do you see going forward the HL lab industry moving? How quickly? So today we believe that we are able to bring it down with whatever tech we have from 20 days disbursement to say a 6-7. But where do you think is going to stabilize? Where in next 3 to 5 years it will go?
So, Samir, two, three things which I see happening. Okay, so as more and more companies they are looking at these data intelligence tools to help them aid in the legal technical valuation process, right? But if you look at the overall home loan journeys of most of the lenders, they have still not digitized that fully, right? So first is they still collect lot of information in physical formats, right?
Mhm.
Although in personal loans, it has happened that everything is in digital, but in uh, home loans, you still have to collect property papers, and then you have to get wet signatures, right? And those, like, I don't know if you have taken a home loan in recent past, but you won't believe that you have to sign a 200-page document, and each page you have to sign, and then if there is a co-applicant, then there's a 400 signatures, right?
No, you don't tell me. I just did it, right? So it is a process in itself, right? 4 hours in office is not funny.
Exactly. So most of the lenders, they have still not digitized their LOS LMS that they can take this data on a API format, right? Although we are working with some of them like ICICI Bank and others, where you can actually get this sanction, these data in a digital format, and there are enough fintechs providing KYCs and other
Yeah, yeah.
informations, right? So industry is going in that direction where they are actually still building these solutions. We believe that we would be the first to integrate because we are ready with our other infrastructure. The second is, if you take look at the legal technical valuation, right? So legal is majorly a title check and a title search, right? Which is being digitized by players like us and the others in the industry as well, right? Valuation also, people are using trying different tools, but technical is, as I said, that you have to go there and do a physical measurement, right? Now, in a personal loan journey, you have solutions like video KYC, right? Can that video KYC be done for a home as well, right? A
Mhm.
person on a video call, and you have enough AI tools where they can assess the area, right? They can assess the construction, they can assess the width of the approach road, right? So I think uh, these prop tech solutions would eventually solve the technical part of it also. So legal, technical, valuation, all three would be digitized in future. The fourth, as I said earlier, is what happens in a US, right? So at the click of the button, any house is identifiable by a single code, right? So in India, uh, although the government actually did it with the addresses, I don't know if you're aware of a digipin concept, right? So all of India is actually divided into a 2 by 2 grid, and each address is identifiable, right, by a 2 by 2 grid. So can a similar housing dictionary be deployed in Indian real estate where each house is identifiable across India by a single unique ID? And then you can actually bring the scale of operations like a e-commerce, right? If each house has a SKU code, like a
Mhm.
e-commerce has a SKU code for each individual unit, right? Imagine the possibilities, right? Imagine the speed, imagine the tat that could happen. So I see that these three things are going in parallel: the digitization of the loan journey, including the APIs for sourcing, right? Second is on the legal technical valuation. All the three things are going in parallel. Technical is slightly behind, but legal and valuation, they are uh, being adopted fast. And third is creation of this housing market dictionary, which you can identify each individual unit, and you can, at the click of the button, you can actually get a complete title, complete valuation, ownership history, legal records, everything. So that's where I see maybe in 5 years, 7 years timeline, we should reach there.
Oh, this is good. I think I couldn't think of it as like an SKU, but I think the way you look at it, we two-wheelers have a SKU, the number is there, everything is, why can't house be, which is larger and has all the investment. So I think this is great insight. So Vik, thank you. This is extremely useful. And I think last 30, 35 minutes, I was attentively learning and listening the whole structure. So I think we would love to see how you guys change the market. And I think it's the most critical part, but nobody really has worked on it. So thank you, Vivek, for this.
Thank you, Samir. And just one last closing comment, that we feel that we are at the cusp of uh, digital transformation in every sector. Prop tech or real estate has been a laggard, right?
Right.
But it's like an elephant. When it moves, then it doesn't come back, right? So we should see great leaps of digital transformation in the coming years. Maybe what where we are seeing, we are just scratching the surface, but someone would had to start this. We feel because of our position in the prop tech sector, we are in best position to solve this problem, and hopefully we should be able to contribute to the industry. Thank
No, perfect, perfect. This is a tougher one. So for us also, we started in this secured loan journey only 2 years back, and I mean, what we realized is we thought there is a gap, but we didn't know that there's so much of gap. So I think this is the area of real change. Thank you, Vivek, for this.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Samir, for having me. Thank you. Bye.